This is fine. This is fine. This is a poor substitute for therapy, but an excellent substitute for other podcasts.
We're not like other podcasts.
Join us as we find the answers to the universe's biggest questions like, is butter a carb? Does crying burn calories? And what the fuck am I doing with my life? We're here to be your part-time therapist, astrologer, concierge doctor, and fairy godmother. Do you need someone to validate you today? Cool. Come on in. We're fine. This is fine. Hey babes, my beautiful angels. Welcome back. Or if this is your first episode here, welcome. Bienvenue. American listeners and les auditeurs français, we are so excited to have you here for an action-packed, full-send, unfiltered episode with the one and only American fille, Amanda Rollins, my Paris bestie and wife, president of the Paris Pickpocket Police, cat mom, typology skincare influencer, and recently added member of the 1 Million Club on TikTok. Fun fact, Paris Hilton followed her on TikTok last week. I'm only a little jealous, it's fine. If you haven't heard episode 31, first of all, go back and do that. I interviewed Amanda alongside Morgan Heiser about their experience as Americans living in Paris. In the span of that hour-long episode and our conversation that continued off mic right afterward, these girls convinced me to move to Paris, offered me their homes while I found housing, and introduced me to all of their friends. I stayed on Amanda's couch for almost 2 weeks while I apartment hunted. She set up my bank account and French phone number, Daddy Energy. She helped me get selected for my apartment that I am recording from now, and essentially laid out all of my new life here. She is one of the most selfless, generous, golden-hearted human beings I have ever come across, and on a personal level, I'm so grateful to have her here on this episode today. If you don't already know and love her, you are certainly about to. Amanda has had a pretty incredible journey from growing up outside of Boston to creating her own path here in Paris, and she is still just as obsessed with the city today as she was the first time she laid eyes on the Eiffel Tower. We're going to get her personal story, her experience here in Paris, how she's making a living on TikTok, how she deals with haters online, her doing it live approach to content, her love for tacos, and so much more. Before we get into today's episode, please take a second to subscribe, tap the 5-star button, and leave us some love if you haven't already. These tiny actions on your part are huge for us. They help us grow and create more content for beautiful listeners just like you. All right, enough of the shameless plug. It is interview time. Strap in, buckle up. We are about to have some fun. All right, Amanda, thank you so much for being here. You're in between Chamonix and Cuba, and we're not even a week after your 1 million milestone on TikTok. So thank you for squeezing us into a crazy week.
Yeah, my pleasure. Happy to be here. Anything for you.
Oh, thanks. My wife.
My wife.
So as you know, we start out our episodes, since you've been on an episode, we do our little check-in. Is this fine? Are you fine? Is everything fine?
Yeah, fine. Thanks for it's fine. It's all fine.
It's all fine. For sure. For sure. Okay, well, let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Okay, so today's topic is one of my favorites. It's all about you and your life.
My also favorite topic.
Ironically, also my favorite topic.
My favorite thing to talk about. Me.
Are you ready to give a little TED Talk on the Amanda Rollins journey?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I'm ready.
Your face. Okay, so you talked a little bit about this in your episode with Morgan, the episode that literally brought us here together.
Yeah.
Started our friendship. But let's wind it back, and I think now we get the opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into your story. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about American Fille. And she went from Boston to Paris. And I want to say it started in 6th grade for you, right? Your Francophile journey. What was it that made you decide, I'm going to start learning French? Did you have this pull to French culture or language?
No, I didn't know anything. I truly didn't know anything about the rest of the world, at that age, but also just our schooling. I just knew Europe existed. And we had to pick Spanish or French. And
cool.
First of all, it didn't even occur to me Spanish, Spain. It occurred to me South America, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And because I'm from Massachusetts on the East Coast, we have so many Spanish speakers. Speaking Spanish is not a hot commodity in the U.S. It's super not. Everyone speaks Spanish. Mm-hmm. And I have just always wanted to be different and cool. So I was I'm going to choose French because, again, I was not thinking of Spain. I was 12, okay?
Yeah.
I was thinking of France, and I was that's in Europe. That sounds cool. It sounds exotic. Something in my body said, they're cooler than us. That's what I thought. So I was I want to be
you were wrong.
Yeah, they're so much cooler than us.
They're so cool.
So I chose French because I wanted to have like this skill that not everyone has. And like I wasn't even thinking about usability because TBH, like luckily it worked out for me, but like probably would have been a lot more useful to actually learn Spanish had I stayed in the US. But like that one decision clearly has led me to here. So
exactly.
Butterfly effect, you know?
Yeah. It also just reminded me like how much we do have in common actually, because in high school when you had to pick a language.
You're from California.
I'm from San Diego.
It's basically Spain.
I'm from northern Mexico.
It's basically northern Mexico. You come literally northern Mexico.
Literally like half of our student body was Mexican. But
like what's the appeal in doing something everyone else is
like,
doing?
I could just learn it from someone else, right? So
also,
I was like, ooh, exotic. And then like obviously didn't use it for so long, still kicking myself. But anyway, today's episode's not about me or French, but my French journey. So you started learning in the 6th grade, as we talked about, you wanted to be different, and you kept learning French all the way through high school. You became the French club president.
Yes.
Honestly, so Virgo rising slay.
No, literally, like, I should talk about that more when I meet French people. Like,
yeah, I think that should be your flex.
I don't think they would care, but like, like I was the president.
I think you should put it in your Instagram bio. Just
in my Hinge bio.
Greenfield High School French club president, like 2008 or like whatever year it was.
That's so true. I should. I don't know why I don't talk about this more. I'm gonna start telling.
Put it like very seriously, like a Forbes 30 under 30, but yours is like the French club president from your high school. I should get myself
like a hat that says like French club president.
Could I wear that even though I was not French club president?
Yeah, of course. When I meet Macron, this will be the first thing I tell him.
Oh my God. He's French president, you're French club president.
There was an election, bro. I won. Like, it was so serious.
Yeah. You're basically Macron, but blonde.
Basically, yeah. That's so true.
Yeah. Okay, so you weren't initially like captivated by Paris. Between choosing learning French and where you are now, like what was it that got you into culture? Was it you just kept along your educational journey?
I always had really, really great French teachers, and they would teach us a lot about culture. Like it wasn't just the language. And just the more I learned about it, it just sounded so cool. Like, I don't know, everything about it was really interesting to me. Like the food, like the mannerisms, like names, just everything. And French class was just my favorite subject. Like we had so much fun in that class, and just I loved speaking a second language. Like it's a very fun skill to use. And yeah, the more and more I learned about it, it was like, oh, I want to go to France one day. I never thought I'd be able to go to France. And then obviously Paris is Paris. Like it's the one, like people always ask me like, why Paris? I'm like, it's not like it's a feeling that I can't describe.
Exactly.
I just wanted to be here.
It's the hardest question. I obviously get it all the time too. Like, why Paris? Like, what made you choose Paris? You can't.
I'm like, it's Paris. Like you can't know pinpoint the answer.
It. Yeah,
it's
I'm like
Paris.
I just like gesture broadly.
Like, have you ever, if you know anything about Paris, you know the answer. It's very clear. Like it's Paris.
It's something like you get here and you just feel it. I cannot pinpoint it.
Yeah. It's the most beautiful place in the world. There's nothing else like it. It's the hub of like, it's like girl center. It's the girly things. We've got fashion. We've got beauty. We've got art. We've got hot babes. We've got hot dudes. Like it's romantic. It's beautiful.
Coquette aesthetic.
Yeah. And like so rich in history. Like it's like a hot girl place. It
really
just
is. Paris really is that girl.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so on that note of you getting here and getting to Paris, your story about not being able to study abroad the way you wanted to is something that really touched me recently, especially because this came up as you were helping someone live that dream, help someone who is in your shoes finally be able to come to Paris. Can we talk about both your experience and then the experience that you helped someone else with?
So when I was choosing colleges, I only chose schools that have a study abroad program because I was like non-negotiable, I'm going to France. So my sophomore year, I did all the process. Like I literally was enrolled in classes in Grenoble and I was supposed to come. And then I sat down with the woman, and look, in retrospect, this woman fucking sucked because she like was not encouraging me at all. And she did, like, I'm kind of like a we can make anything happen type of person. And she was kind of, I wonder if she was French. She was kind of like the, like, it's not going to be possible. You know what I mean? And I'm like, like a young kid with no, like I have no support from my family. There's no like grown-ups to help me. So I was like, oh man, like it's not possible. Because like the lady said so, you know, like if I probably could have made it work, but she was like, literally, I remember sitting in her office and she was like, you know, like, where are you at, like, financially? And I was like, no money. Like,
you're like, LOL, what do you mean?
I was like, is there, like, housing there? She's like, yeah, you'll have housing. But she's like, you're going to have to, like, buy all your stuff again. Like, they're not going to have sheets for you. You're going to have to buy re-sheets, like, new sheets. You're going to have to rebuy this, rebuy that. And I was like, whoa, hold on. She was like, yeah, you can't come to Paris with, like, all your stuff, or France with all your stuff. Like, you can only bring, like, 1 or 2 suitcases. And I remember she said to me, and she's like, also, like, who's going to help you carry your bags up the stairs? Like, they don't have elevators over there. And no, this bitch was the worst, actually. Like, I'm going to find her name and, like, write her a letter.
Also, like, student housing doesn't have bed linens?
I don't know. Like, she was just saying, like, I honestly feel like she was, like, getting joy out of, like, disqualifying me. Do you know what I mean?
She might have been.
She was like, you're not going to be able to afford it. Because I was like, you know, I like, truly didn't have much money. And I was like, we'll figure it out. But then she kind of, like, she was like, you have your bills here that you still have to pay, which is a real thing. And then also like your living expenses there. Because even in France, if they have housing, it's like student housing, but you still have to pay a little something. She was just explaining all this. And I was like, there's no way I can afford that. Because at this time, I still had credit cards. I had student loan payments. I had like XYZ things that like I was still keeping up. And like, maybe looking back, I could have like asked my credit card company to like let me chill for a few months.
But how would you have known that?
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, oh shit, I can't go. So
you were like,
I,
what, 18, 19?
I was like 18 and a half, I think, or something. So I like unenrolled, which was so upsetting for me.
That's
like, that
devastating.
Sucked. Yeah.
Like such a heartbreak. Like when you told me that story, it broke my heart.
Yeah, but you know what? Like also like it was such a scary thing to like leave. And so in a way I was like, all right, well, at least I was in a sorority, I get to like stay, and I was on the track team. And then I'd switch to a French minor with a marketing major because I was like, if I'm a French major, my only options are to teach, and I don't want to be a teacher. That's obviously dumb. I could have done a lot more than that. But again, like retrospect.
You live and you learn.
So yeah, but like not being able to go was a bummer, but it's not that big of a bummer because I made it here now. So it's like I'm not bummed about it at all. But at the time I was sad. Yeah. So when I did my contest, it was the hardest thing because there was like 2,000 applicants or something.
So rewinding it back a little bit, Amanda did a contest on her TikTok. I don't know if we can call it a contest legally. I don't know. But it was sort of
giveaway,
like, it's a giveaway. Yeah, exactly. So Amanda did a giveaway where she was like, I'm going to bring someone out here to Paris. I'm going to buy your flight. And she ended up doing 2.
I ended up doing 2 because, so I'm going to be real, like reading through all those comments, that's not fun. That's so many comments.
Of course.
So like I was really zeroing in on the ones that left multiple comments to like, because they had like a really big story. Because some people were like, I just always wanted to go to Paris. And I'm like, okay, no offense, but like everyone wants to go there. Like you got to sell me on it, Yeah. So I chose one girl, her name's Sandra, and she's just so cool. And she was like, my mom, she's like, I'm a first generation immigrant, or is that what you call it? What, like she's
first gen American.
First generation American. She's like, my mom sacrificed so much for me. And so like, it's been tough growing up. And like, I've always wanted to take my mom to Paris. Then turns out after I spoke to her, she manifested this. She literally like wrote out, she's like, I'm going to take my mom to Paris this year. And I was like, girl, you manifested me. And as someone who manifests a lot, I'm like, I've never been manifested. Actually, that's not true. People in Paris who I've run into on the street were like, I manifested meeting into you. I love
I think I manifested
manifest
you.
me, guys. I'm so down to be manifested. It makes me so like
manifest me harder, daddy.
Like I just walk into a room and there's someone waiting for me and they're like, I called you with the stars. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so great.
Like literally.
But then so I had this other girl and her thing was like, I was supposed to study abroad. I literally can't afford it. And I was like, you're me. That's me. So I was like, I'm legally obligated to choose you also. And money's not real, anyways, like credit cards and
pixels on a screen.
No, well, literally, we'll figure it out, know? So I did 2 winners because that's just fun. It's really fun to do that. Yeah.
Incredible. So you have made 3 people, including the mom,
dream
come true.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
When is that happening?
The first girl, Avery, who's studying abroad, I think she's set to arrive like late March.
Okay.
Neither of I think she's like super appreciative, but like I think she's just like off to go to school. She doesn't want to like hang out with me.
That's fine. That's fine.
And then Sandra,
you're like, wait, I thought we were roommates.
I know. I keep messaging them being like, you want to like chat? And
do you want to go to dinner?
They're not getting back to me. I'm like, it's cool. But Sandra and her mom are coming in May, I think.
Okay. That's a perfect time.
Yeah, it's the best time to come. So yeah, we'll see them when they get here.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for picnic season in spring.
Oh my God, me too.
I need the sun. It's so, for those of you listening who are not here in Paris, it is cloudy and cold and
it's just like frigid.
It's just like not the vibe.
Yeah, it's not good times over here.
Okay, but rewinding it back to happy memories of Paris as well. Let's talk about the first time you got here, your first visit to Paris. What year was it? What were you up to? How did you get here? What were you thinking?
It was 2016 in January. I came by myself and it was right after the terrorist attack in November. So like Paris was a weird vibe at that time. And it was freezing cold and there weren't a lot of tourists because a lot of people probably like canceled their trips. And also January. is not like a hot month. So it was pretty empty actually, which was nice because every monument I went to, it was like dead quiet. And like I was on a weekday as well. So like it was pretty open. It was, like I arrived, the first thing I did was go to my hostel, drop my stuff and go directly to the Eiffel Tower. And when I saw it, I took the line 9, I think. The 6 goes above ground, but I don't think I was on the 6. I'm almost certain I was on the 9.
And I got to Trocadero.
But I didn't get off at Trocadero. I got off like almost by like before. I can picture it in my head. No, there's like a cultural center right at the stop.
Oh.
Like it's further than the Eiffel Tower. It's a bit like...
Oh, past it. I don't know that.
Yeah, it's not Ber Hakeem, but it's one of them. Whatever.
Like that's too far for me.
Right. But so I wasn't anticipating seeing it on the train. I thought that I would like get off the metro. And then all of a sudden our train blows by and I see it lit up and I had like a fucking panic attack. Like because I wasn't ready for it. And it's so much bigger. Guys, it's so much bigger than you think. It's kind of scary. Like it's overwhelming how big it is. So
sorry.
So I get off the train and I start sprinting. Like, I looked crazy. I was sprinting and I was hysterically crying. And then as I was running, I passed bunnies. There was just bunnies sitting on like a ledge, unattended, like 4 of them. So I'm sitting there. There's a video of me. I'm like hysterically crying, and I'm like, I'm at the Eiffel Tower, and there's bunnies.
There's bunnies.
I'm like, who's in charge of you guys? But they were sitting on like food and money. So like obviously some person like, and I've seen the bunnies before. Like some guy comes out and is like, "Yo, pet my bunnies," but you're just like left them.
Sorry, some guy comes out and is like, "Yo, pet my bunnies."
No, dude, there's people do the weirdest shit for money in Paris. Have you not seen this? And there's the lady with the cat, and like, but like if you pet the cat, you have to give money. It's like a whole thing.
I haven't seen that. I've only seen the cat on the guy's shoulder at Sacré-Cœur.
Yeah, no, there's all kinds of people just like peddling their animals, and I was like,
I should do that with Stella.
When I was really poor as an au pair, I thought about doing that with Titus. But I was like, I was really distracted by the bunnies.
Yeah.
And then I like made it to the Eiffel Tower and just like cried and like whatever. So it was just the happiest trip of my life, like fully on my own, but just, it was so much fun.
It had taken like most of your life to get to that point, and you were thinking about it for so long.
Yeah, I was 26 the first time I went to Paris.
Yeah. And you started learning French when you were 12.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It was like such a moment. I was so excited.
It is such a special thing. And like, obviously I had sort of a similar experience. The first time I got here, there are no words that you can put into it. Yeah. It's just cheers.
Well, because most skills, you get to use them in, like if you train to play the violin, you get to play the violin and then go, if you want to perform, you can perform. If you dance, you can literally dance and then go do the dance thing.
Do a dance recital,
but like learning a language is really, you only get that like feeling of like completion moment when you go to that country and use it. And so I would like do the clearance version, no offense, but do the fake version of going to Canada all the time to practice my French.
No offense.
No, but like, I'm not saying Canada, and like, I'm not saying their French isn't valid.
But you went to Montreal.
I went to Montreal. It's a slightly different type of French.
Québécois is like very different.
It's different, but additionally, like they all literally speak English. So like if I'm trying to speak French, like they're gonna switch to English immediately. But their French is slightly different, and like it's not. I learned French. I didn't learn Québécois French. So you don't get that moment. It's like one of the only skills where you don't get that moment until you physically go to that country to use it. Every other skill you can use it pretty quick. So like, it was a really cool moment, especially because that was like my favorite skill to have.
So you got there, it's 2016, you're having this emotional, not overwhelm, but this overwhelming emotional moment. Were you immediately like, all right, well, I'm going to live here now?
I mean, I wanted to, but it's just, I was like, oh, but like you couldn't, like money, and like, let's be real, you won't. And like I have all these things tied up at home, but it like planted the seed. And so then when I started doing is just kind of like casually being like, what if? So I started building out my Google Chrome bookmarks, just kind of like
Virgo rising.
For real. So I was just kind of started being like, okay, like if I wanted to go, what does that process look like? Who has moved before? Like following people who've done it. Like, what is even a visa? How do you do, like, just kind of building it out. Right. And like, I would go through these little moments where I'd have slight bursts of energy being like, I always say like, I start a lot of projects, but like I usually finish them. It just takes me a very long time. So then I would have these bursts of moments being like, okay, like let's revisit that idea. But then I'd be like, no, you can't. Right. And then like the more serious I got, I was like, all right, let's list out like, what would you need to live there? Like, what do you have in the US that you would literally need to have there? Like, and I would like anything from like financial security, a place to live, like the medicines that I'm on, I need those over here. My fucking cat, how am I gonna get him over there? Like all these, list them out. And then over time I found answers to each of them. And then as everyone knows, I read The Alchemist, and that was it. You read that book and I was like, oh, we're going. I literally made my account in Au Pair World that night. Because also by this time I figured out, this is what happens when you do your research on your own. I thought my best option was being an au pair. I literally probably could have worked remotely with my U.S. company and done the long stay visitor visa. But my process worked out perfect because I got to live with an au pair, like with a French family, whatever. So I had all the the kill switch ready. I had all my stuff lined up when I'm ready to press go. Yeah. So after I read The Alchemist, that day.
It was showtime.
Yeah, I was like, it's time. So I made my account on aupairworld.com on like a Friday, set up multiple interviews with families like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then signed my contract that Friday.
Holy shit.
It was so fast.
Holy shit.
So then it was like, this all happened in June. And so I told my company like that week, and I was like, I'm leaving. They were so supportive, and I began like the process. I mean, I made my embassy appointment, started selling all my stuff, and then I left August 27th to come to Paris.
That's amazing.
Like super fast.
Yeah, like lightning. I mean, it's funny because when we got off the phone, like if anyone heard the original episode, and if you haven't, go do that right now. That's the thing that you told me, and I can't remember if it was on the episode or you told me afterward. You were like, go read The Alchemist right now. Yeah, and I downloaded it.
Oh, you did it right after?
I did it right after.
And it's so, dude.
I read it, and the next day I booked the appointment.
That book is so it's going to do something to you. Like if there's
really
anything
does.
that you're holding back, whether it's like breaking up with that guy that you need to break up with, quitting that job that you hate, moving to that country, like whatever.
I support
it is,
everything you just said, all of those things.
Right? And that book will like, because you know the thing, like gun to your head, what things should you be doing that you know you're not doing? Everyone has one.
Yep.
That book will make you do it.
That is like the push toward like making the leap.
Yeah.
Like if you're on like the edge of that cliff, which is like a weird thing I always think about this because I jumped off a cliff in Hawaii and it was so scary. Like the anticipation part was the worst part. But then once you like get that push, you're flying. Like it's amazing. But it's the lead up and you need that push. And I think The Alchemist really is like that big shove.
Because it really dials in on like, you're going to have life regret if you don't do this.
Totally.
And it like reiterates the fact that like, you're not really risking that much by making it because the thing that you love or your security will still be there. Like we live in it's not gone forever. You can come back. And you know, if you don't do it, it's going to keep nagging you until it disappears. And then you'll just live a life of regret being like, I was going to do that one day.
Yeah.
And also just like the validation of no one who's ever done something like that has ever regretted it in the history of the fucking world. Literally find me one person who moved to a different country and was like, I regret that.
I regret having this experience.
It does not exist. It does not exist.
Also, this might be a half-baked hot take, but I think security is an illusion. I think that we're all
it
seeking
absolutely
security.
is. But it's funny because we crave it, but it literally does not exist.
It's
Even
not
marriage,
real.
no one is guaranteed to stick with you forever. Nothing, security does not. I'm sure you've seen or heard of like the very famous speech that Jim Carrey gave at, I think it was like a Stanford graduation or something. And he said, my dad was an accountant. My dad took the safe route. He had a corporate job with like a nice 401k, blah, blah, blah. And then he got fired late in his career. And so he was like, I watched my dad do the safe thing and still it didn't work. So I decided, well, if that risk is there regardless, I'm going to do the fun thing.
Yep.
And so like, yeah, same.
I love him.
He's the best.
Such a good point too. Like we rely so much on this false illusion of security instead of pursuing something great because it's scary or risky. It's like you were just saying, nothing is insured, nothing is guaranteed, nothing is permanent.
Yep.
Just go for it.
Yeah. And like life is worth living, or life is living. Life is for living.
Life is for living.
Life is for living.
Full send.
No, really.
No, really. Okay, so you made it to Paris in 2017.
Yes.
You were au pair.
The oldest au pair in France. I swear to God.
Oldest au pair in France. Then you were a marketer. Then you were a full-time content creator. Now,
no, I was head of global sales enablement.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You were au pair. Then you were head of global sales at.
I worked at 360 Learning basically. So I was a sales professional for for 6 years in Boston, and like a sales leader, sales trainer. I was like leading trainings and stuff. So I worked at a French tech company that does language, and basically I was writing about sales enablement. So all the trainings I had already given. So I was technically on the marketing team, but I was writing about sales.
Okay.
So like it was like it was a sales adjacent role. And then I moved to a different tech company in Paris, AB Tasty, and I was there for 3 years as head of sales enablement.
Okay.
Basically just like leading sales trainings for the entire sales org. And then I very briefly was at this other company, also head of global sales enablement, doing sales trainings and stuff.
Okay.
And then I went full-time with content November 2022.
Okay. So you went through a layoff and you were like, okay, this sucks. But
I didn't think it sucked. I was excited.
Oh, was it Morgan?
I don't know. I was excited when Morgan got laid off too. So I don't know.
I think she said you manifested.
I didn't, because I was like, it'd be so dope if you lost your job too. And then she did, and I was like, whoops, sorry. No regrets.
Okay, so you got laid off, Morgan got laid off, and you decided this is the time. I'm going to be a full-time content creator, and now you're making a living like being yourself. Yeah, no, it's so much fun. So basically, when I left AB Tasty, I loved that company. It's like family. I love them. I loved everything about that company. It's the best place I've ever worked. But I was so bored. I can't do the same thing every day. No.
I can't give the same training every day. Because also, you have to care, and I can't care that long. Like, I gave up caring. Like, I gave the same fucking training multiple times a month for 3 years. And I was like, I can't do it anymore.
I would be so miserable. I'm sorry.
So then I left to go to this other company, and it's a really cool company, but it was all remote, which I do like remote work, but like, if I'm doing a job that I'm not passionate about, I need to be policed because I can't be trusted because I don't like my job. Turns out when I like what I'm doing, I'm great. Do you know what I mean?
Right, of course.
And they gave me an outrageous salary. Like, I was like, honestly, the signs were there. I was like, are you guys when I got my offer, I was like, dope, but like, are you sure? Because like, do you guys have the funding? For real. Like, I was like, I mean, I appreciate it. So I was making a ton of money, but I only worked there for 6 months. And then, that company was just spending money like they had it and they didn't.
They were like money's not real.
For real. Like, we did a company-wide retreat and they spent $2 million on it. The whole company was in private villas in the south of Portugal. Like, and I was like, this, again, dope, but like, are you guys...
Are you okay?
Should you be doing this, right? So
Clearly
anyways,
no.
when they laid me off, I was like, dude, when I went into the meeting, like all my bosses were like so somber. And I was like, just so you guys know, like, I'm okay. And like, I totally understand why this had to happen. Like, this can be a happy call. And they're like, oh, thank God. Cause they've been firing people all day. But when you get the email, like, guys were laying off people, and then you get like a calendar invite, like,
Yeah.
And they were like,
not a surprise.
They're like, Amanda, like, this isn't going to be a happy meeting. And I was like, oh, guys, I already know I'm being fired. Don't even worry, guys. Like,
Don't
it's
stress.
totally cool. I was not sad at all. And I was like, okay, because I had a cool job with a higher salary. And I was like, guess what? Guys, I need you to understand this. Everyone who says more money won't make you happy, it's true. And that sounds like such a douchebag thing to say, because money provides so many opportunities, and I don't deny that. But when you have it, then you're kind of like, now what? And if you're unfulfilled, you're just gonna be unfulfilled in nicer clothing. Like, it's not. So I'm not saying money doesn't have value, but I was like, okay, yeah, I could go interview at another company for a cool salary, but I'm gonna be miserable.
Right.
And like, if you're spending 8 hours of your day wanting to die, it's like that eats away at you.
That's destructive.
Right. So when that happened, I think it was Morgan, we were chatting, and Morgan was the one who was like, I think you should just go for it. You should just like really go for it. Because I had always been dicking around in my apartment making content in between meetings when I'm supposed to be doing work or something.
0% surprised.
Yeah, right? But so then she was like, you should like really go for it. And I was like, all right. So I'll like wake up at 8 a.m. and be like, I'm filming all day. I've never done that before.
Just pretend this is my job.
And when I got Morgan fired via my powers, she would like come with me and film, and we would like go out and intentionally film stuff.
Right.
So we did that video in front of the fucking Louvre, where I was like, the 5 most common scams in Paris. Fucking 35 million views, baby. That video paid me like 12,000 euros.
Wild. So
and that
wild.
was me and Morgan with like, I filmed that on an Android, and you can tell that was an Android video. It's just Morgan holding we did 2 takes, dude. Just her holding the camera, me talking, boom.
12 grand.
Because turns out, even though I talk about Paris all the time, when they see me in Paris, it does more.
Interesting.
I know, it's a shame because I love filming in my house, but like when I go out in front of something, it works way better.
It's a good tip.
But like, so then I was like, all right, I'm going to go full time with this. And I was obviously terrified. So I was like offering my consultations, offering my tours, booking. I was so dumb. I booked like 10 tours a week one time. So I was like, I might not have money. And then turns out I can make money from this. So that fear is now gone, thank God. But long story short, I had a very strong baseline. Like, I didn't just like go full time with content with 6 followers. I had like 550,000 when I did this. So I also was like, things are going well and I can keep going well, and it all just worked out, and I have not once looked back. And bro, I would literally, you can't pay me to be in a corporate job ever again, ever.
Totally.
No way.
So you started your full-time content creation when you were at over 500,000 or about 500,000
Yeah,
followers.
because I started with TikTok in 2020 during confinement. And so when I was laid off, I was growing consistently for 3 years. And so I was like, well, I mean, it's working, and this is me half trying. So what if I full try?
Yeah. Half trying got you to 500,000.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I had like 3 brand deals at that point.
Wow.
Like, I hadn't even signed on with Typology at that point.
Okay.
I was like winging it. I was taking deals for $300. Like, oh, the poor girl. She didn't know better.
I think I met you, like, obviously on the internet, like 2 months after you got laid off. So this was like around that time.
Yeah, because we chatted in January and I was laid off in November.
In November, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I caught you right around that like 500,000 mark, and I was like, damn, she's been like hustling on TikTok for a while. I assumed you had been doing it full time for way longer.
No, I was. I mean, but like, I post between 3 and 5 times a day, every day, even if I have work. So because you've seen me film, I'm quick. I pick up my phone, I say something. Sometimes I don't even watch it, and I just press click.
You're not like, you don't have an editorial calendar. You don't have like a seasonal content strategy. Like, so many people put so much into it, and you're just like, we're doing it live. Like,
well, I mean,
roll the clip.
There's certain videos that I do need that require some editing, and
for sure,
when I have like 6 videos that are ready to post, I am slightly strategic where I'll be like, I'll post this one, then I'll hit them with this, or like I'll kind of be like, I'm gonna post this one Monday, this one Tuesday, knowing that in between Monday and Tuesday, I'm gonna do some of my on the fly ones as well.
For sure.
And as things come up in my life, I'm gonna post about them, but then I still throw in the ones that I had planned to post.
Yeah.
So it's like a mix of like intentional and then whatever comes up.
But you don't have like an Excel spreadsheet that's like, okay, this is the seasonal content that we're working.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I know this personally, but just to clarify for everyone else, like, it's not that it's thoughtless, but you're not overthinking it.
Yeah, but that's why I say to people, like, if you want to be a content creator, that's great, but I would advise you to only do this if it comes as natural as breathing to you, because if it doesn't, it's going to be an uphill battle, and if you're too focused on the numbers, and if you're diving so deep into your strategy, and you're like, oh, what's going on, you're going to feel impacted by that. You're going to be confused why it's not working. I mean, I was a sales manager for like fucking like 8 years, or I became a manager later, but I've been a sales professional for 10 years. I feel like this is the same thing that goes with sales. There are people who are naturally good at sales, and there's people who want to be good at sales, and I'll tell you what, the people who are not as good at sales, they put like 100 times more work in, and the results are still not as good as the people who are good at sales, because you can't teach you have to be comfortable chatting with someone and kind of pressuring someone to do something when they don't want to in a smooth way that doesn't feel pressury. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. And if that's not natural to you, I've said it to my sales team. I was like, guys, I love you and I know you want to be good at this job, but like, have you considered that you don't fucking like sales? Because that's okay. Do you know what I mean? And one of my guys quit and he was like, I just don't think I like sales. And I was like, I don't think you do either. Get out of here,
totally.
dude.
It was
Go
the
get a
same
job
thing.
that's peaceful.
Exactly. Like, find your peace, my dude.
Yeah.
My brother and Grace. It was the same thing with PR. When I went into PR, I was like, I don't like pressuring people. This isn't natural to me. I don't want to sell people on anything. It's kind of salesy, right? Like, it's media sales almost. And it's something that may or may not come naturally. Same thing with being on camera.
I love selling. I love, I will pitch you on anything, but it's got to be shit that I care about.
That's how I am. Yeah. I'm like, if I'm hyped on something, everyone's going to know about it.
This is why right now what I do is wonderful, because I will talk for hours about anything I like. But when I was in sales, I was like, I'm going to be real. Do I give a fuck about this technology?
Right.
No. And do I care if the company makes more money? Also, no.
For sure, no. For sure, no.
But getting, talking about Paris pickpockets, or this new beta alpha peel from Dr. Dennis Gross that makes your skin look brand new. Hell yeah, we got to talk about that.
Absolutely.
Like, the people got to know,
The people need to know. I'm like, ask me one question about astrology.
I dare you. Hit me with the astrology.
I dare you hit me with a micro question.
You want to know something crazy? Back when I was in Boston working I was like in one of my last sales jobs, I had a friend that I worked with, and I would not take my job seriously. I'd be in the middle of like updating my resume and my website at my desk. But I would still hit my sales goals, dude. So
yeah, it doesn't matter.
And I would pull her aside and I was like, I need you to be my sounding board for what I'm going to do with my life. And I remember having this chat with her where I was like, I feel like I have a lot of knowledge about very separate things, and I need to like be this person who like has the stuff. Cause I was like, what's my niche going to be? And I was like, I don't have one. And I was saying to her, I was like, what I was like theorizing is this hypothetical thing that didn't exist. What I was theorizing was fucking TikTok. I was saying to her, I have a lot of information about random topics that I really want to be the go-to person for, but I don't know how do you categorize that? Yeah. But that's what I want to do. And she was like, I agree. You have like the knowledge about random stuff. And then it's so funny that that's what I do now, because TikTok was built for that.
I love that you brought this up, because this is a question I actually wanted to ask. One of my favorite things about you as a content creator is you haven't pigeonholed yourself into a niche.
Yeah.
And that's one of my biggest fears, like as a podcaster, content creator, like we have very similar like diversity of passions, right?
Yeah.
And I think so many people hear from marketers, from, experts in social media, et cetera, like, oh, you have to pick a niche and like really like label and brand yourself within that niche. And you have proven like the opposite can be true.
Basically, when I started talking about Paris, that's when like things popped off. Turns out a lot of people are super interested in Paris. And then Emily in Paris came out and it took the world by storm, right? Mm-hmm. So that is cool. And it's annoying that if I don't talk about Paris, sometimes my content doesn't do as well.
Right.
But sometimes it does. Mm-hmm. And my first viral video was not even about Paris. It was about this concept that I came up with because I'm a genius. Sorry, I'm super humble. It was this concept that if you notice someone is apologizing to you for something that you don't give a fuck about, what they're actually doing, and they don't even realize they're doing this, they're apologizing to you because they hate it when people do it to them. So if you have, I have a friend, Victor, shout out to Victor, most beautiful man and my best friend that I love in the entire world. Victor used to always apologize to me for interrupting. And I was like, babe, I don't care. And then I was like, oh my God, he fucking doesn't like being interrupted. Aww. And I always apologize to people when I make them wait for me because I hate waiting for other people. And this is like something, if you want to be a good friend, if you notice that your friend keeps apologizing for something that you don't care about, keep in mind they care about it. So don't do that to them. That was my first viral video. And I have words of wisdom that I want to share and other topics that I care about. And so I know that when I talk about Paris, it goes viral, but you're not going to tell me what my content is. Like, I refuse. So I've just been battling it constantly. And like, I honestly have several videos that are like well in the millions that are not related to Paris whatsoever.
Like skincare, but like life advice stuff about like, my video where I talked about my relationship with my mom, that's got like 4 million views or something. Like Vinted,
like techno music. But for me, I genuinely want to talk about everything. And I was actually analyzing my own stuff lately because I was looking at Victoria Paris, and she really is a lifestyle content creator. That bitch posts about whatever she wants and it blows up. And she doesn't have that many more followers than me, but every one of her videos blows up. And I was like, I'm trying to get there, because right now, even though I have as many followers as I do, the videos that talk about Paris blow up and the ones that aren't necessarily about Paris don't. But I'm just going to keep doing it because I know that like eventually it's going to work, because I know for a fact I'm entertaining on camera. I know for a fact my life is interesting enough. Like my life is like a circus sometimes, right? So I'm like, I just have to like get onto the right people. And I'm hoping that eventually will happen, because I want like the freedom to talk about what I want.
Yeah.
But I also like, it's like, I don't ignore my roots. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be like, I'm not talking about Paris anymore. Like, no, I do love Paris, and people come to me for that. And so it's kind of like I feel like I have an obligation to continue with what I started with, because that's what people want from me.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to continuously throw in the stuff that I want until it works, and I know it will.
Yeah. You just sometimes got to force their hand a little bit.
Yeah.
That reminds me, when I was in middle school, high heels were against the dress code. But I was like, but I like them and I like fashion. So I just kept wearing them, and I would keep getting sent to the principal's office. And then he would eventually be like, Jesus Christ. Like, and I'm like, well, I'm just not going to not wear them.
Of course you were wearing heels in high school. You cracked me up.
Middle school.
Oh, dear Lord.
It was like 12, 13. And I was like, but fashion, like, it goes with the outfit better. And eventually he was like, okay, just like, don't hurt people with them. And I was like, okay.
Oh, were they afraid this was going to be a weapon?
No, literally. I was like, do you think I'm going to like stab a boy with my high heels? And like, maybe they did.
We have pencils and pens, dude. Like, there's more weapony things available.
Yeah, I think American schools have bigger fish to fry than my shoes.
Real, for real.
Anyway, they changed the dress code the next year.
Yep, good for you.
Thank you. Sometimes you just got to stick to your guns.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Force the issue. So I do really appreciate how you are a great example of how you really don't have to narrow yourself into one particular niche. And you've been successful at it, because even when you were doing it half-time, you got to $500,000. You do it full-time, you get to a full million.
Yeah.
That actually brings me, segueing myself right on in, to your favorite moments between $500,000 and $1 million. A lot of crazy shit has happened.
Oh, God, yeah, I don't even know.
Like, you've been working with the embassy.
Yeah.
The Olympics.
So, Typology is it's the biggest online retailer in France for skincare, which is huge. It's beautiful. It's sleek. She's sexy. She's luxury. When I started working with Typology, I was like, oh my God, I am so cool. Like, this is the coolest thing. And then when they said to me, we want to offer you an annual contract, I passed away. I was like, oh.
I simply died.
Because also consistent money is scary as an influencer. So an annual contract, that saves my ass. Do you get what I mean?
No, 100%.
So working with Typology is such an honor, because I love their products. Their CEO is my best friend. I mean, he wrote me a birthday card, so I assume that we're best friends. I just love him. I love everything they believe in. I love the people that work there. The products are beautiful. So like, being the face of Typology makes me feel so cool. Like, I'm like, that is amazing. That's like an honor.
An I made it moment.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Let me think what else. Obviously, working with the Olympics. I mean, that was a huge one on my to-do list. And the fact that it happened, like, if you go to the Olympics literal Instagram page, there's my face. Like, that is so cool.
So sick.
And I'm going to be working with them more in the future too. So that's huge for me.
Cool.
Working with the U.S. Embassy here in France, and as well as the French Embassy in the U.S. is super cool. I never thought that I would work with government, especially because, like, I'm not a government type of gal.
A government girly.
You know what I mean? But it's super cool to work with them, and like, the opportunities that I've had with them, the networking, the people that I've met, I just keep getting closer and closer to meeting Macron, frankly, which is a huge objective of mine.
That's number one on the priority list.
Dude, Warcles, who's my favorite musician in the entire world on planet Earth. Warcles is so important to me. And yeah, we were friends on the internet via me being a fan. But when I messaged him and I said, I'm a TikToker, let me help you with your TikTok. And he was like, sure, let's set up a call. Do you want to go on tour with us? You have to understand, my favorite artist in the world was like, you want to go on tour with me? And I was like, yeah. So then I went on tour with him. So I'm getting to work with my favorite musician in the whole world. I'm on tour with them, and I made so many amazing friends that I'm still friends with today. And that kind of got me in the music world. And music is like, I don't even think I realized how important music was to me until I like really like analyzed it. I'm like, music is like one of my big three, like for real. So now, because of that, you know, having worked in the music industry, worked with him, I've gotten to meet other musicians. And so now I'm like friends with Vladimir Koshmar, and I worked with Fisher's, what's it called? Fisher's Festival in Malta, Trip Fest. I've worked with their team. Tomorrowland just invited me to go to Tomorrowland. I don't know if I can, because like my body can't do it anymore, but.
Music video with Esther too.
Oh yeah, like oh my God. Like, so Warcle's fiance, Esther Abrami, who is the most beautiful, talented, sweetest violinist on planet Earth. I worked with her. So like, this has opened up me to working with the music industry, which I care so much about. But I'm working with the music industry in a way where like I'm kind of adjacent. Like, I help out here and there, maybe get me on stage sometimes behind the DJ booth, but like it's not becoming work, because I don't want the things I love to become work.
So good.
So honest. And then like, now I'm being invited by, like, I'm working with Accra Arena. I'm working with Le Stadium La Défense.
It's really working out for your friends.
No, yeah, like I got to bring all my girlfriends to a concert at Accra Arena because they invited me, because they're so sweet. So now I'm getting invited. Honestly, when I first started with this, I was like, I just want to get invited to the cool stuff. I just want to be gifted cool things and get invited to the cool stuff. You know what I mean? So like the fact that that's beginning to happen is so much fun. And the thing is, I'm thrilled to make content about this stuff because I make content about it anyway.
You're sharing your life.
So you might as well have me on, like, I'll talk about music, but if you bring me to the music, I'll talk about it more.
Exactly.
And my favorite is when I'm making content because I love it, not because I'm paid, not because there's a contract.
Yep.
Obviously, sometimes there has to be money involved, especially because, you know, what I do is valuable. But it's really fun when it just works out that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Organically sharing the stuff you love with the world.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I say this all the time. If your opinion only comes attached with a price tag, then your opinion loses its value.
Yeah, it's worthless.
And I have friends who are content creators that won't talk about a brand or product unless they're paid for it. And I'm like, I hear you, but it means that the only things you talk about are ones that you are paid for. I do free advertising for, like, honestly, it's insane how much free content and free advertising I give to brands, but it's because I genuinely love them.
Totally.
But I feel like when they work with someone like me, it's in their best interest because they know that I actually care about it. So that way I will be able to create a video that is going to be authentic because I'm not scripted. Yep. That's another thing. I don't use scripts, and you know this. Every time I meet up with another content creator, every time, they're like, where's the script? And I was like, in my head. And like, if it's not written down for a lot of these guys, it doesn't exist. Like, they're like, oh, Amanda, I wrote a hot script. And I was like,
what?
Okay.
You're like, I'm not a theater major, but thanks.
No, but like, it's funny to me, like, because I'm starting to realize that most people use scripts and I don't.
Yeah. I can't see you ever using a script.
Like, I might have like bullet points, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I don't use scripts typically.
I mean, I think you being unscripted is part of your brand.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's part of your authenticity. I mean, not that a script can't be authentic. Like, I don't want, to dismiss anyone who has that. But I think that is just part of your, like, I don't know, the vibe is that you're FaceTiming your friends.
Yeah, and when I read off of a script, it doesn't feel as good or natural. Like, speaking is like my biggest strength. I can talk about anything, and like the ideas, there's no pause. The ideas come to me and I can just say them.
Yep.
It's like I'm good on my feet, I guess. So like scripting like slows me down actually. And then it sounds fake and I'm not happy with it. And I'd rather just talk like from the heart.
Yeah.
That's like Morgan is always sending me briefs for typology. And she's like, did you read the brief? And I'm like, I didn't.
Nah.
No, but I'm kidding. I obviously pull it up and I'm like, they want me to say this and this, but then I'm just going to go and.
You have talking points. That's way better than it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's way, way better. Like, if I'm ever doing a voiceover for something, I don't like having a script because, like you, I want it to just flow. But sometimes I'll need the talking points just to make sure I'm fitting everything into like 30 or 60 seconds, whatever it ends up being.
I'll like write down a few words. I'm like, make sure you don't forget this part.
Exactly. So yeah, I think like the takeaway, if anyone listening is a content creator or wants to get into this, is like find what works for you. Like, maybe the formula that works for a lot of people doesn't work for you, and that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, and something that I will say, because we were talking about like, having a niche or not having a niche, I will say the people that find a format and repeat it, like Alex and Tom, they do these skits.
Yep.
It works for them.
Totally.
It really works for them. And I feel like if you're trying to grow quickly, and honestly, sometimes it is quite marketable, depending on what the format is, right?
There are a lot of benefits to having a niche.
Some formats don't leave room for you to then work with a brand. Like, you got to think that through, because if your format, like, I don't know, like there's those guys who like dive into true crime stuff. Good for them, but like, what kind of brand deal are you gonna do? How are you gonna do that? It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
But like, if you have a format, it is repeatable and you can do it. But the only thing is, you can't not do that. You can never stray away. That's what your format is now.
That's terrifying.
And that's a little risky.
Yeah.
That's why I like these creators who have like series almost. Like, I do my what did I call it? What's my American name? Katie. Sometimes I do skits with
Katie in the beret.
Yeah, Katie in Paris, right?
Yeah.
Which is like a dumb American.
Yeah.
I throw those out every now and then, but then I've got my like in the bathroom getting ready, and then I've got my on the street. Like, I have different versions, and
like,
I think it's good
Justice Amanda, like Pickpocket Police. Like,
exactly. So it's good to like give yourself multiple, because if you have only one forever, you can't really stray from that, because people want consistency.
See, that's actually, from my editorial perspective, genius, because if you were a magazine reader, like dating us a little bit, but like if you had magazines, right? Magazines have columns.
Yeah.
Those are like the series, right?
Yeah.
Like every month, you're going to get like a beauty section and a fitness section. Like, that's how storytelling in like mainstream media has worked for a long time. So if you give yourself those kind of series and categories, you have range while still sort of staying within like parameters that keep you marketable.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. Cool. So speaking of doing this full time, you are constantly putting out content. Like you said, sometimes 3, 4 a day, right?
5, 6 a day.
Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah. So that one of our listeners had a question about how you either get over or manage the feeling like you have to record your whole life. Like you don't have like a boundary between. I feel like for you, I already know the answer. I already know the answer. Sorry.
No, I'll let you answer.
Like you don't have to filter anything out. Like this is just natural to you.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not thinking about that at all.
Yeah.
When I have stuff to say, I say it. And when I don't, I don't.
Yep.
Like, and for me, I love sharing my life. I love sharing experiences that can be helpful for other people. That makes me so happy. So the idea will strike me and I'll be like, I want to share this. There's a lot of, the thing is, people often like, I'm very extroverted and it seems like I share my whole life. Babe, I'm a Scorpio. There are layers to this pie that you will never get. I'm telling you, dude.
Like the secrets.
Yeah, the secrets are extensive and like you have no idea. So it might appear that I share my whole life, but like aggressively not. Not. I just share what I'm happy to share. And it just so happens, I think the things that I'm comfortable sharing are maybe more than what most people are comfortable sharing.
That's true, yeah.
But like, I haven't dragged my ex-boyfriend through the mud on the internet. I thought about it, but I haven't, because some things are left for, me.
Between you and God.
Between me and God, Yeah.
And the group chat. The Holy Trinity, me, God, and the group chat.
Right, for real.
No, for real. So yeah, you have a really good, I think, balance where if it's not something that you want to go on the internet, it doesn't go on the internet. You don't feel pressure.
I feel nothing.
Yeah, it's a very neutral place to be, and I think that neutrality or like equanimity, whatever you want to call it, is very healthy because like in social media there can be really high highs and really low lows, which obviously like you're very familiar with. Like people can be awful.
Oh my God, people like fucking. Just real quick, like if you're someone who just like uses TikTok to watch, or like you're not filming content, because it's only people who don't film content that leave the rude comments. Like there is a person on the other side of the phone, and I don't care how big they are, they're gonna see your comment. And like, where do you get off? I don't like, you are dealing with people and your words have consequences. And first of all, you are exposing yourself as a piece of shit because people will see that.
Yeah.
The things that I've been told are so out of pocket, and it, like they don't really affect me because I don't believe that person is like a legitimate person basically, but it's crazy. It's literally it makes me sad. Like what is up with people? Like I think it bums me out about like the human species,
the human existence. Yeah, I mean it's that phrase like hurt people, right?
Oh, for sure.
So there is like that concept where you can like sort of understand or like have empathy for someone just like being a jerk, but at the same time when you're inundated with a bunch of people just being jerks and like dumb jerks at that, leaving like really dumb comments, that sort of makes me think like this is not a field for everyone. Like you have a very thick skin. Yeah. As sensitive as you are, like as a person, like you have a really high tolerance for other people's BS. I think that's a big skill to have.
I mean, it took me a long time to get as confident as I am, but now, I'm sorry, nobody's opinion about me matters except my own.
Yep.
And I hold myself to a very high standard. If I'm not happy with myself, that's serious and we make changes. And if I am happy with myself, then you can kiss my ass. Like have you seen that meme where it's like a bunch of people and there's one guy sitting in front of them and he goes, "Yes, you're all wrong." I was like, that is so fucking me. You know what I mean? Like if because at the end of the day, if I can look myself in the mirror and say like I'm content with what we did, and this isn't coming from a place of like
megalomania.
Yeah, but like it's not like I do have a high opinion of myself, but not in like I know everything. It's like I'm constantly being like, hey, you're wrong, you can grow, you should change your mind. And when I get proven wrong, I am the first to admit like, yo, I was wrong, thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
But like when I'm like, no, you did, like, hey, I like thought it over and like I'm content, like I stand by what I said or what I did. Yeah. And like comments from people they mean nothing to me.
I've even watched you when no one has said anything to you about some kind of like self-improvement or thing that might have been like quote unquote wrong. You find that something you did was maybe wrong and then like autocorrect. Like no one even has to tell you. I've watched you do it.
Really?
It's like,
fun.
It's like an interesting experience to observe.
But because I autocorrect, that means like I trust myself to keep it in line.
Yeah.
So like obviously the people I care about are people whose opinions I respect. Their opinion matters to me, but strangers on the internet, not so much.
That's a really good piece of quality advice. I would say to anyone interacting on the internet, you don't have to be a content creator to encounter bullies or just cruel, mean people on the internet. There are negative people all the time, and I've encountered them as a journalist and,
just expect online. It. Like they're going to be there. Like
they're always going to be there. It doesn't matter how likable you are, how good your content is, how special your story is. It doesn't matter. People are going to find ways to be mean, and developing a tolerance to that is really important, and not taking their opinion seriously.
Yeah.
Their opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like, I mean, after I film a video, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm like, I stand by that. And I post it.
Yeah.
Some people have problems with it. I'm like, I don't know, man. We checked it off. Like, we gave the okay. Like, I don't know. Like, okay, so I filmed the TV show, the French TV show. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not. Whatever.
Okay.
Oh, whatever. It's a French TV show. You'll see it. It's going to come out in October. I haven't seen how they edited me yet, though, right?
Right.
And I'm the only American out of all French people. And I'm speaking in French the whole time and, like, whatever. And I'm already like, there's going to be so many haters. I know there are. But I'm prepared for it. It's fine.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Their opinion of you doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I'm already like there's going to be mean stuff. So that, like I'm not surprised at all. And I feel like you can't be Pikachu face when mean comments happen. Like they're coming. They're always gonna come. Of course.
Sometimes I really am Pikachu face. That feels a little on brand for me actually.
Yeah.
Who, me?
Yeah.
You don't like me?
Yeah. It's shocking.
Oh, shocking. Another listener question on this topic of like being in content creation, being in the quote unquote influencer space. How do you see this type of career, this field, both sustaining and evolving over the years?
I think long-form content is going to become a much bigger thing, especially with the recent Risa Tisa, Who the Fuck Did I Marry series. She used 10-minute videos on every episode, and there's 50 episodes, and the entire world has watched. And I have been posting 9-10 minute videos from fucking the minute they gave me the minute option. I had that option. Like I can talk.
Libra Mercury is like Libra Mercurying so hard.
Yeah, I can talk forever. And so I think long-form content is going to certainly take over. I mean, influencers as a concept, people are always like, influencers dying. And I'm like, they're not, because you need us. But I think the way you influence, I mean, we've already seen it. The more authentic, like real content, people who actually give their opinions and honestly sprinkled in with their real opinions and not always just brand deals. I think that's going to, I mean, that's already been on the rise, but I feel like it's going to continue being on the rise. I think brands are going to lean more on content creators and like UGC and like individuals than these big marketing campaigns, because just nobody fucking cares. Yeah. Like people, like if you go to some of the top brands, look at how many followers they have. They've got like 30K followers.
Yeah, it's so true.
Like I sent Jordan the screenshot of Otakos, and he was like, "But don't you have more followers than them?" And I was like,
so
"Yeah, Jordan, a lot more." But that's normal though, because who's, like brands. I mean, unless you're like Ryanair or Duolingo, who are killing it.
I love
There's
Duolingo.
not like unless your brand is silly goofy, like no one cares. Like traditional marketing is not, traditional advertising doesn't work the way it used to.
Your examples, Ryanair and Duolingo, are acting like people on the internet. They're not acting like brands, and that's, people don't want to follow brands. People don't want to follow an ad all the time.
Nobody wants to be sold anything ever.
No one wants to watch ads. Like, what's the first thing you try to skip when you watch a YouTube video?
Yep.
The ads.
And dude, influencers and content creators are being invited to the same events that celebrities are. I think celebrities are dying out. Like their endorsement, like there's less celebrity endorsements and more content creator, influencer endorsements.
Authentic endorsements.
Especially because if you have someone that you know and you trust, and they can, I've seen some ads that I'm like, this is a fucking work of art, and they're still doing their same humor, and you know, because like, I know it's an ad, you know it's an ad, everyone knows people got to get paid, no one cares, but you see how they did it, and it's so funny, and they'll put like inside jokes in, and it's just so like on brand for this time period, that like, that is beautiful, and you have to I'm like,
it's art.
Really, like there's this one creator that I love. He's a friend of mine. We've done videos together. It's a French guy. He did this video with this condom brand, and it's so funny that I was like, I'm not even having sex, but I'm going to go buy some of these condoms, like because of you. Like, because it's so funny. Do you know what I mean?
I love that so much. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love that you brought up the long form content thing too, because like one of my frustrations as a writer is that everything had to be like short attention span, make it shorter, 500, 700 words, keep it under 1,000. And there are these really beautiful, like complex stories, nuanced topics that require so much more. And there's not been room for it. So
people
it's
want to dive in, I think.
Right? Like I mean, you and me obviously like love a deep dive, but to see that other people are engaging with that as well is really promising. And it also says a lot about like the opposite of like, oh, we only have the attention span of a goldfish. Like, no,
we don't. No, we
Some
don't.
of us are going like on deep rabbit hole spirals.
Yep.
Like,
dude, you know what I was thinking? Because talking comes naturally for me. I love writing, but like it's a different art
medium,
form.
yeah.
After seeing the Risa Tisa thing, I was like, what if I did my book
audiobook style?
Like, no, like just exactly how she did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's an audiobook. Like she just spoke it.
I thought about it. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because then like some of this stuff in my book is kind of, you know, like a bit, it's deep. It's and by deep I mean deep in my secrets. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was like, but then my face would be associated with it. Like I don't know. But I thought about it, and I was like, you could. I was like, I mean, you're always saying that like talking comes naturally to you. Like, what if you just like talked her out, and then we just download the script and there's the book.
We're doing it live, full send.
Right?
Like, yeah,
right? I don't know. We'll see. But like
it could be worth experimenting with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I support it. So audiobook coming soon from Amanda.
Yeah.
So sort of pivoting a tiny bit away from influencer stuff and back into Paris, not to like pull us back in, but what is something that you think is kind of underrated about Paris? Something awesome that maybe doesn't get enough attention or love or credit?
Our metro system is really good.
Yeah.
Our metro system is really good. Like, we bitch about it all the time, but
Totally.
like, people love bitching. I fucking love bitching.
French people
I
love it.
complaining. But
Yeah.
honestly, like, the train shows up on time. And it runs pretty late until like 1:30. It's honestly pretty clean. There's, you know, you've got your random, like, occasional, like, homeless person or pickpocketing, but for the most part, the metro system is, like, reliable, which
Clockwork.
is pretty cool. I don't know. Well, let me think. Do you have ideas?
No, I mean, that's a really good niche, like underrated one that we like do complain about. But at the same time, like the last time I took a metro consistently was in San Francisco, and it was awful. I would get stuck underground for forever.
Yeah, and the Boston metro, like, it's often late or very, very, very crowded. Like, the Paris metro, yeah, of course there's moments where it's crowded, but I feel like it's pretty good. Paris does a lot. They care a lot about culture, and they especially care a lot about the younger generation. And there is this techno DJ named Laurent Garnier. He's older now. If you get the chance to see him live, he's so great still. He is like the daddy of techno, and because of him and the work that he did, he basically lobbied for Paris to like open up to the techno world, to like to create space for the techno world and to create events and like let people have these events. So whenever you see like an open air situation in Paris, which is all like the music scene here is incredible. Paris often puts on. I went to a rave at Palais Royal. A rave.
That's
Paris,
so sick.
the city of Paris put on a fucking rave.
Yeah.
All of this is because of the work that Laurent Garnier did to like lobby
Bring that
for this.
form of arts.
It's like the city of Paris. Like, for example, Fête de la Musique.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this would never fly in the US ever, ever, ever. The whole city is like, yeah, you can just fucking rave in the streets from sun up until sundown on June 21st every year.
Walking
and
around
there's
with
no
alcohol.
rules.
Yeah.
Literally crowds and everyone's wasted. And first of all, the open container laws, you can drink anywhere that you want in Paris all the time. That's amazing. But that would never fly in the US. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna let the whole city have a party.
Yeah.
Like YOLO. There's no one checking IDs. There's no one checking how many drinks you've had. No. But guess what? Nothing happens. Nobody dies. But like the city of Paris is down for that. We have the techno parade every year, which is in September, whereas it's just a techno parade. It's exactly what it sounds like. And it goes through the whole city and everyone's wasted and nobody cares. The police are there to just like watch, but like
Make sure no one dies.
For example, when we are playing a game and we win, you're allowed to riot. They literally are like, go riot it
They're
up,
like,
baby.
yeah, get it out.
And then they shut it down at a certain point in time. So like when we won the World Cup in 2018, it was anarchy in the streets. It was my happiest day in Paris. I wish I could relive it, dude. It was the happiest day of my life in Paris. And then around like midnight, they were like, okay, you've had enough.
That's
and
enough.
They quietly, respectfully tear gassed us away. You know what I mean? But like they really let it go until midnight, man. Like that was
Quietly respectful. I can't.
But like, do you get what I mean? But they were like,
With all due respect, tear gas.
no, but like they really let it go until midnight, and then they're like, okay, like you're done.
All right, that's enough.
But like that would never happen in any other country, dude.
No.
Ever.
Oh my god, that's so good. It also just reminded me, hopefully we won't get tear gassed out of it, but the rave at Versailles. Like,
Oh my god, yeah, we're going to a rave at Versailles. Like, welcome into this fucking historical monument, one of the most famous in the world, and you can just party it up, and they know what we're doing.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, get wild, we don't care.
get buck wild in your 18th century shit.
Yeah, it's just they really, really care about people having the appreciation for culture, for art, for music, but especially for young people to be able to express themselves in that way.
Yeah.
There's often open air parties on the Seine. Like a guy will just show up with a DJ booth. My friends used to throw metro parties. You meet at this metro. They always did the line 9 because it's the longest line. You start at one end and they all just pile into the metro. So RIP if you're trying to take the metro. Yeah. But like from
I'm
like
always taking the 9.
Right, from like 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. They've just occupied like 2 or 3 carts raving. Did the police come? No, they didn't come. Like because nobody cares. It's like. Also, I was told that like if you try to complain about noise on a Friday, Saturday night, the police will say you're a problem, dude, for living in the center of Paris because they're like, yeah, well, people have il faut profiter. The kids want to have fun. You got to let them have fun. I just fucking love it.
It's incredible and not the answer I was expecting.
It's not because it didn't occur to me, but the more and more I thought about it, I was like, that would never fly anywhere else.
Yeah. Vive la France.
No, but you know what it was? Because I was speaking to someone yesterday. I think it was an American. We were talking about La Folie Douce in Mirabel, where I was. And they were like, that would never happen in the U.S. And I was like, you're right. It's literally an outdoor rave. Again, no one's checking IDs.
Yeah.
We're just like that. And no one, and because in the U.S. they're so serious about alcohol consumption. You're cut off, blah, blah, blah. Cutting off. Bitch, we don't cut off over here. Does not happen.
That also reminds me, there is a party coming up this month.
Oh, yeah.
To celebrate something really special on March 16th. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so I'm throwing a party for achieving 1 million followers on TikTok.
Woo!
So I rented out a place. I can tell people now. It's at Quai de la Photo, which is a giant-ass peniche. You get... like,
Peniche.
Yeah, it's going to be a boat party, but the boat's not moving. Don't worry. It's actually right near Wanderlust, which is... a club in Paris that I like.
On the fence about?
Yeah, you could get robbed there, but...
Ooh, okay. Good time, might get robbed.
But TBH, we might go there for the after party, so I can't talk too much shit about it.
Okay.
But it's fine. But, and no, then there's Cafe Oz upstairs. Cafe Oz is better than Wanderlust. Anyways.
Okay.
So the Peniche is right there. It's huge. Rented the whole place out. It's going to be privatisé, so it's going to be my party. Tickets go on sale, I think, in like 2 days. I'm just waiting to get the event link. And your ticket includes a drink, and there's going to be a cool DJ and a lot of cool guests. Like I invited Esther, I invited like a lot of other content creators I invited, but a lot of my friends I invited, and it's for my followers. So, because my followers have always been like, how can we meet you? And I was like, I'm going to throw a party. And I was like, when I get to 1 million, I'll do it. So I have a capacity, unfortunately, so I can only sell 300 tickets, which bums me out, but those 300 people...
It bums me out that it can't be 1,000 people.
No,
but actually,
really, but
I
I'm
know it
not...
does.
The thing is, I have 1 million followers, but I don't have 1 million follower money yet. Do you get what I mean?
I have 1 million followers, not $1 million.
Yeah, like we're not... Like, I'm not Drake rich yet. I'm working on it.
The yet is the important part. But
Yeah.
here's my big question about this party. Is Otaco's catering?
I need to ask them. That's like a pretty big ask, but like...
I mean,
think they
is it
should,
though?
Right?
Because like you've given them already, like in my professional opinion, like tens of thousands of dollars of marketing for free.
I should ask them if they have like an Otaco's truck and they should roll up and like we should work that out. That would be so cool.
We need to also explain what Otaco's is for the Americans listening.
Oh, French tacos. So Otaco's is a chain. It's like McDonald's, but for French tacos. And French tacos are basically a tortilla filled with a meat, whatever meat you want, French fries, a cheese sauce, and then like what other stuff that you want to put in there. And then it's folded up like a panini and like pressed. So I get ground beef with mustard and ketchup because it then is basically a cheeseburger in a wrap, which is
like
amazing.
shivering, but yeah, I kind of want to try it.
So good. It's literally so good.
I could like talk so much shit on and be like, oh, in California, but I kind of want to try it.
No, because people are always like, it's not a taco. I'm like, yeah, it's not. Get the fuck over it. They're not. I don't know why they call it that, but they're not pretending to be a Mexican taco. It's just what they call it. It's so good though.
Perfect. So yeah, maybe that will convince someone listening to move to France because they're French tacos.
Yeah, French tacos are really good. It's just like the perfect drunk food, especially because it's in its own casing, so like it's not messy.
Yeah. So on that note of French culture.
Yeah.
When you were convincing me to move here, which like obviously didn't take a whole lot of arm twisting. But your advice was to read The Alchemist, like we talked about. I did that immediately. But besides that, if anyone listening right now is like, all right, this sounds like a fun time, like Fête de la Musique, like the World Cup, like riding until you get tear gassed, like Versailles parties, a cool metro, arts and culture, Hot Girl Central, like this sounds amazing, but like, I don't know, it seems impossible. Like both of us had that moment, right? Where I was like, no, that seems impossible. What's your advice?
I mean, it's not impossible. List out why you think it's impossible, and I promise you there's an answer. I have ADHD. Adderall is not allowed in France. And I was like, I cannot literally move to another country unmedicated because when I got medicated, it changed my life. And I almost didn't come to France for that. And then I found a solution because they do have Ritalin over here, which is not the same.
Right.
But Adderall is addictive because it's meth. Let's be fucking for real right now.
Diet
Adderall is meth.
Yeah.
Literally. Like almost better meth, actually. like pharmaceutical meth. There is a come down period. There is like you think it's not addictive. Be so fucking for real right now. Yes, it is. There is a withdrawal. It's probably about 2 weeks. You're gonna be starving and tired, and you're gonna hate your life. But then it gets better. And the cool thing about what we do have for medication over here is that Ritalin is non-addictive. So I cannot take it on a day if I want. Like it is non-addictive. It is available here. It is covered by Sécurité Sociale. You're gonna have to find a psychiatrist who will prescribe it for you. But there's an option. So whatever your it's impossible, that's not true and you know it isn't. So I would say list them all down, and then if I said to you, you have 1 hour to find out how there's a solution to each of these or you die, I'm pretty sure you could figure it out. And if you want to move here, there's always a reason to stay. You can always find when to stay, but like, why are you really focused on that? It's because it's scary and you don't know if it's going to be a good time. You just gotta have faith in yourself, and you gotta have faith in all the people that are telling you that it's going to be a good time. Just like what she was saying, jumping off a cliff. I know it's scary, but if there's 10 people in the water looking up at you being like, do it, it's the most fun ever. They're not lying. Like, I'm not being paid to tell you. I don't care if you move to Paris or not. Frankly, we have too many Americans here, TBH. But like, if you want to do it, I know the feeling of what it feels like to do that, and it's the best feeling in the world. I feel like my life didn't even start until I moved here. I didn't like techno music until I moved here. I was a completely different person because turns out I don't belong in Boston. I belong here. So everything changed when I moved here. All these things just started happening. My dating life improved, my friend groups improved, my skincare routine improved, my diet improved, everything made sense here. And I was like, oh my God, if I didn't do this, I would have been so bummed out. Like, that would be so disappointing. So if you're thinking about it, you already know you want to do it. So just do it.
Just fucking do
just
it.
Fucking do it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So last question, and this is like based on my own personal experience. Do you feel more alive here?
Yeah, I feel like I was a shell of a person in Boston. I was treadmilling, going to work every day. It was like wake up, gym, work, come home, watch a movie, or get drunk on the couch with my friend with wine, go out on the weekends. I was bored, so bored, doing the same shit every day. My life didn't really have purpose. When you live in your own country, it's easy to fall into a routine because there's nothing, you're not getting spiced up every day. Like, you speak the language, you know how things work. There's you're so comfortable. It's like as comfy as you can be. That the only way to spice up your life is to maybe go on a weekend trip or something, right?
Your life just made me so happy.
But you move to Paris, everything is gonna spice up your life.
Everything is different.
There's ups and downs. You have to relearn everything, which is kind of fun actually. You have new discussions with people. There's new shit to talk about. When I was living in Boston, what do we talk about? The Red Sox. There's nothing cool going on.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, but I moved here. There's a million. Everything is all of a sudden interesting.
Yep.
It's I was just the other day with my friend's baby, and I was saying it must be so cool to be her because everything she's seeing for the first time, you show her a spoon and she's like, whoa,
hell
what the
yeah,
fuck is that? She is it's like she's on a trip. Everything is so cool to her because everything is brand new.
Baby, she's
on mushrooms all the time. And I was like, that's so fun to be her, right? Well, that's what it's like to move to Paris or to move to another country because
being on mushrooms all the time.
No, but you know what I mean?
I can't breathe.
It's true.
No, it's so true.
But if you move...
No, it's true.
But if you
your
move to a
brain is so
different country,
active.
Everything is new. You're like, oh shit, their envelopes are different. Oh shit, their metro system...
Literally, the
everything
tiniest
is new.
things.
And the thing is, because you're putting yourself in a situation where you're not comfortable, you're more alert. You are more... you have a higher ability to change yourself. You're more receptive to change because you're in this in-between state. In the US, you're kind of set in your ways. Everything's comfortable and it's easy to go on autopilot. You don't even think half the time. You move to another country, you have to think all the time because you don't know what's going on. And because you're in this jello state where you haven't firmed yet, you're still kind of liquid, you are very moldable. So you can, if you decide that you want to take on a new hobby or you decide you want to be this version of yourself, that is so much easier in a new country because you're already in this movable state of mind. Yeah. Do you get what I mean?
Totally.
So yeah, I feel more alive here. But my life did not literally I can there's AP or no B before BP and AP before Paris and after Paris.
Before times and the after times.
BP did not exist. She was not a real person.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
And a lot of what you're saying mirrors my own experience of just everything is so much more activated here.
Yeah.
That it really does make you feel fully alive.
Yeah.
And what you were saying earlier, life is for living.
Yeah.
This is it.
For 100%.
This is really it. And even I don't want to say, even if you think you're happy, to infer that you're not happy. I was very happy in California, very content, right? Loved where I lived, everything was good. And I still feel that way about where I was. But here, it's everything just got dialed up.
It's a different kind of happy.
Yeah.
Because there's a set of pride. There's a sense of pride having achieved something really, really difficult.
Yeah. Like jumping off the cliff, right?
Yeah.
You get that rush, I just did that.
But it's not even one rush because the rush never stops.
It's
I've been here 7 years.
It's a nonstop rush and a mushroom high.
Yeah. People always ask me, does it get old? And I'm like, no. Yeah. Literally, I can be having the worst day and I step outside and I'm immediately you're in Paris.
Yep.
After 7 years, dude, it does not go away. That feeling does not go away.
You watched me through your neighborhood the first day I got here, and I looked at you and I was like, does this get old? I feel like I'm just a kid on Christmas, and my eyes were bugging, smiling all goofy, and you were like, no, it doesn't get old.
It does not get old.
I was just looking around oh my god, real.
It's so so good.
I looked at the buildings as I walked outside of my house, and I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
just staring at them, holy shit, how are
Paris
you here?
is a living museum. It's so cool.
It really is.
We should climb up the stairs.
It's
raining.
Okay, so we're gonna close it out here because Amanda now has the impulse to climb up this weird little spiral staircase
she has this
in my garden.
Staircase next to her building.
Yeah,
it goes so
10 floors
high. Yeah. So I did it once when she wasn't here because I was just feeling crazy, and then I was like, oh my god, I have to climb back down, and I blacked out. We're gonna go do that.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that in the rain and see if we can look at the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Okay, Amanda, I love you so much.
Love you.
This was so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for gracing us with all of your wisdom.
Of course.
Let's do this again sometime.
Oh, yeah, you got it, sis.
Happy 1 million.
Thank you. Bye.
Bisous. All right, y'all, pencil in March 16th to your calendar. If you're here in Paris, we will hyperlink to all the things you need in the episode description, as per usual. If you're a longtime listener, thank you so much for being here. We're coming up on our 2nd birthday this summer, and I am beyond grateful to have this incredible community. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share stories with you all, for giving me a platform here. I do not take it for granted. I am so, so grateful. If you're a new listener, hell yeah, brother. I'm so happy you're here too. It is a messy but fun time, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we've been enjoying it. If this wasn't enough content for you, fear not. I have even more to say. Shocking. If you want more interviews, more Paris, more jokes, more astrology, more niche luxury, more fun, this is my official announcement of the newsletter for This Is Fine and all other things in the Dominique universe. My Substack just launched. Yes, I got on the bandwagon. We are calling it, for now, Dominique en Rose, for obvious reasons. It will be a home base for my different forms of content, all delivered neatly to your inbox so you can stay up to date with all the fun happenings over here without having to search for them all over the place. Up next, we've got some astrology content, solo episodes from me, more Americans in Paris, some environmental content, a new topic for us, and so much more. So don't forget to subscribe. And again, if you could leave us a 5-star review, that would mean so much to Dan and me. Thank you so much in advance. All right, this was a long episode, so I'll let you go now. I love you all so much. Je vous aime beaucoup. We'll see you here next week. À bientôt. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of This Is Fine. I've been your host, Dominique Michelle Astorino. We're based in San Diego, recording in studio at DLI Productions in Paris, Pacific Beach, with Emmy Award-winning sound designer Dan De La Isla. This is a comedy and advice podcast, but for legal reasons, this entire podcast is a joke and none of it is medical advice. To download the transcript or learn more, visit thisisfinepodcast.com.